All right, newsroom, welcome. 2020 will be almost over until the COVID-19 will be dead. Now it is 1 in the afternoon. It's going to be on the Worldwide Canvas 2020 Year in Review. We're going to be learning about what we're going to do for all those headlines put together. That could be for the news, a pop culture with this entertainment, lifestyles, sports, even etc., 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 etc. Now we're going to begin with what you can read. You can always has been already found in these articles. Okay, and we're going to get here to what you're going to invite to join me for. So as you may know, for those of you who interested about 2020 for this moment, you can give me some comments below, and then I'll just going to answer your question for that. Well, all right. So we're gonna get started for right now, and just give you guys for a share screen that I just already been posted on every day and night. So I'm gonna give you guys just a moment ahead for the first stop. What I'm going to do for it. It's really importantly, we'll get this through here for after the election. Hopefully, Joe Biden will be almost ready on the January 20th. So I'm giving you guys for the share screen. Okay, so let's start with the Kim Jong-un toss strategic weapon amid stall in talks. Now, this one for the found this on the military online, expressing the frustration over stall nuclear talks. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un warned of unspecified shocking action and that his country will soon reveal a new strategic weapon to the world as it boisters its nuclear deployment in face of against the like U.S. pressure. Kim also said North Korea was longer obligated to maintain a self-imposed suspension on the testing of nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missile, which President Donald Trump has touted as a major deployment accomplishment. But Kim gave no clear indication that a resumption of such tests was impending and appeared to leave the door open for eventual negotiation. So if you have any question, what was about for the Kim Jong-un tried strategic weapons amid stock in talks? And you could give me the comments below then right on this chat on Zoom live streaming if you want to say something. So we're going to do that for the next headlines to see what comes next. Like I said before to you, just there's a chat over here. Oh, and I can see Andy just came arrive. So I'm just going to make sure to omit. And I can see, Amit just muted you. Oh, hey there. So Andy, you need to unmute. I need to able to hear you.
Kyle.
Hey there.
Hey.
So are you ready for 2020 year in review?
I sure am.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay, I don't have much time because I'm still working, but why don't you lead us off with the year in review, Kyle?
All right. Okay, so we're gonna start with Kim Jong-un. We'll get ready for it. So I'm giving you guys for a share screen, but Andy forgot to see that first. So let me give you guys for the share screen. All right, so here's what it is. This is what Kim Jong-un turned strategic weapons amid stall in talks. So this is what at the military online, expressing deep frustration over stalled nuclear talks, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un warned of unspecified shocking action and that his country will soon reveal a new strategic weapon to the world as it boisters its nuclear deterrence in face of against the light U.S. pressure. Kim also said North Korea was no longer obligated to maintain a self-imposed suspension on the testing of nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missile, which President Donald Trump has touted as a major deployment accomplishment. But Kim gave no clear indication that a resumption of such tests was impending and appeared to leave the door open for eventual negotiation. So you can read more article on the military. So any question, you can let me know for this comments below. There's a chat right on the Zoom live streaming, like I said before to you guys.
Yep.
So, so Andy, what do you think about the Kim Jong-un tried to strategic weapon amid stall in talks? So, Andy, wait, so give this on.
Do you want my thoughts on Kim Jong-il?
Yeah.
I think everybody should be friends.
Should be friends?
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Now, next we have the Black Hole helicopter crash in Taiwan. Now, found this on the South China Morning Post. Taiwan's military chief of staff and 7 others were killed when a Black Hawk helicopter crashed in the Mountainous regions in the northwestern part of the island on Thursday morning, officials said. Taiwan's Air Force commander, I'm quite sure what's this name, but I'm going to see in Chinese. Oh yeah, by the way, then let's see what translates it. I think this is but that he is. I'm quite sure it was the Wikipedia or something. But anyway, I think this is on. Hang on just a moment. Oh yes, there you are. I'm quite sure I'm going to give you guys for the South China Morning Post. They be my sure or yeah, but it is. Yeah, it says Hui Qi confirmed the death of Chief of Staff Shen Yiming and 7 others on Thursday afternoon after the UH-60M craft carrying 13 military personnel force landed in New Taipei, country's Wulai district earlier in the day. Among the dead were 2 major generals, Political Warfare Board Deputy Director Eugene Wen and Hong Kong Chin from the Defense Ministry Office of the Deputy Chief of the General Staff for Intelligence. Also killed were Lieutenant Colonel, a captain, a major, and 2 senior master cigarettes. Taiwan's Defense Ministry said the location of the craft had been identified and that 2 Black Hawks and about 80 officers had been dispatched to the scenes. Taiwanese media later released images of the rescue survey the crash site. So you can read for the full article of the South China Morning Post if you want to click on here. So Andy, what do you think about the Black Hawk helicopter crash in Taiwan?
I didn't know there was one, actually, Kyle. I remember the Black Hawk down from like years ago from the 90s, but I did not know, maybe I'm out of the loop. I did not know that there was a Black Hawk helicopter crash in Taiwan this year. I think maybe there were so many other bad things happening that this one kind of got away from me.
Right. So let's see what the next headlines are that we just, like I said, we could do for the January for this month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one, we have the Hong Kong police says the mob and support suspend New Year's Day march. Now that we did from last 2019. Now found this on the Radio Television Hong Kong. Here's what that says. The police say around a third of the more than 460 people they intercepted in Causeway Bay on New Year's Day were eventually released without being arrested, but only after many had spent hours held at the site of the road. TV picture has shown a large group of people forced to squat and put their hands on their heads on Hennessy Road before officers pushed the media far back from the scenes. Police said at their press briefing on Thursday that after internal investigation, 770 of the 446 people they had stopped were let go, while the remaining 287 were arrested on suspicious on unlawful assembly. You can read more article on RTHK. So, Andy, what do you think about the Hong Kong police say the mob and support suspend New Year's Day march?
Well, I don't think we should be having New Year's Day marches. Not this year, at least, right, Kyle?
Whatever you say so.
Mm-hmm.
That's about in Hong Kong. You can right behind on the serving Hong Kong with Homer duty with and royalty. I'm gonna see what else we have here. I'm quite sure there is the wildfire in Australia. I'm quite sure they be on here. I just want to make sure to share something for the headlines. Now, talk about for the Australian wildfires are super danger. Now, here's what that says on CNN. Australian authorities are launching novel and air rescue operation along the country's southeast coast, and deadly wildfires intensify, standing residents and tourism in town that may be wiped out by Saturday. In Australia Defence Force, which starts with the game for the ADF, sent Navy vessel on Friday to the fire threatened town of, and I can see it's Malakota in Victoria, Victoria State, where thousands of people fled their homes and sought refuge on the beach earlier this week. More than 960 people were believed evacuated on Friday to Western Port, south of Marlborough, the ADF said. Photos of Malakutas show people wearing face masks and lining up to board the vessels with the air blanketed in yellow haze and smoke. So you can read more of the article on CNN. You can even need to click here about for the Australian wildfire. You may be shook how much danger it was. I'm quite sure Andy was still on bit here. I'm going to see what he's back on.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you are.
Let's more stuff come up.
So tell us about for the Australian wildfire are super danger.
Sure. Now, this is a really dangerous situation, Kyle, and this is something we should all be concerned about. Just like we had wildfires in the United States all year as well, right?
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on wildfires and the connection to climate change?
And then?
So, I think we should stop poisoning the planet, and maybe we'll have less wildfires.
Hopefully, it's going to be on rescues.
Hopefully, but I'm not sure, Kyle. I think it's going to get worse.
We'll see. All right, let's see. We'll wait for Andy just a moment ahead. So, like I said about the Australian wildfires are super dangerous. You can read more articles on CNN that we have before it for the ADF. Okay, so let's see what we got here next. Headlines. So if you're interested about 2020 review, there's the chat right over here on Zoom live streaming. If you want to say something, it is completely up to you. So the next one, we have the new clue emerged in Kurwa Jenner's escape from Japan. Now, here's what we have here on the New York Times. New clues emerged on Friday on how Carl Jones pulled off his escape from Japan as a Turkish charter jet company said its planes were used illegally to pull off the plane, while the Japanese news media reported that surveillance camera footage showed the disgraced auto industry motorist leaving his Tokyo home on Saturday by himself. Taken together, the disclosure paints a picture of a dash across Japan to a waiting plane that flew Mr. Guang across Asia to Les Blancs. Still, most of the detail of Mr. Guang's getaway remain murky and unconfirmed. The authorities in Japan and Turkey still appear to be investigating how he did it. Mr. Guang's, who has maintained his innocence, was facing 4 charges of financial wrongdoing in Japan and was set to go on trial sometime next year. But he escaped instead, saying that he did not trust what he called the rig Japan justice systems to give him a fair trial. He built and once ran the Renault Auto Atlas, one of the world's biggest car-making empires, but was arrested after arriving in Tokyo in November 2018. So you can read more of the article on the New York Times. So, Andy, what do you think about the new clues emerged in Colorado's escapes from Japan?
This was a crazy story, right? The Nissan executive, right?
Right.
Yeah, I followed this a little bit, Kyle. It was a pretty good one. It was pretty good, interesting story. I feel like, do you think he is guilty or not?
Well, whoever knows who guilty, but whatever he say so.
I think he's guilty. I don't think he would have ran if he was innocent. What are your thoughts?
So if you have a thoughts, you can write me a comments below. Whatever you say so about the Carlo Gods, it is completely up to you whatever you say so.
I'm with you.
All right. So Andy's with me. All right. Now, here's what we got here on the Golden Globe for those pop culture. We talked about for the Golden Globes Award, and I'm quite sure I'm gonna give you guys put on the Wikipedia. Hopefully, on those nominations, get be for it. Now we watch about for the 77th Golden Globes Award with the host for see what we have here. I think it is hosted by Ricky Gervais. Now, the 77th Golden Globes Award honored the best film and American television of 2019 as chosen by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, produced by the Clark Production and the HFPA. The ceremony was broadcast live on January 5th, 2020 from Beverly Hills in Beverly Hills, California, beginning at 5 in the afternoon Pacific and 8 in the evening and Eastern. The ceremony arrived live on NBC in the United States. So the nominees were announced on December 9th, 2019 by Tim Allen, Dakota Fanning, Suzanne Kirchie Waston, Mary Stories earned a leading 6 nomination. Tom Hanks and Ella DeGeneres were announced as the receptionists of the Cecil B. DeMille Award and the Carl Bertie Award, respectively. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won the most awards for the ceremony with 3, including Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. 1917, Joker and Rocketman won 2 awards each, with 1917 winning Best Motion Picture Drama in Television. Succession, Fleabag, and Carbody were the most awarded with 2 awards each. The ceremony was nominated for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards: Outstanding Gravity Special Live and Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Special. And might be sure you can see the winners and nominees. Let me give you guys a scroll down for really interested about the Golden Globes at the 2024 77th Golden Globes Award on NBC. So Andy, what do you think about for the 77th Golden Globes Award? It was on NBC. I can. Where did Andy go? But I'm just gonna make sure to wait for him. Well, hopefully Andy will be on just a momentarily as far as he could. Like we always watch about for the Golden Globes. It's on NBC with. I think it is hosted by for the Ricky Gervais. It is. I'm just gonna wait for Andy to see how he's doing for. Well, hopefully he does. I'm quite sure if I could see while we're waiting for Andy, I just want to make sure about what was Largest replying for this morning on Gmail. I'm going to see what Largest said to me, and she was saying, uh, hopefully, let me see where he on. Oh, there he goes. So he said, so Laura Cohen just said to me, I will be out for the days on the high side to miss your Zoom, but wishing you a very happy and healthy new year. Hope things return to normal so we can see you on person in 2021, hopefully half of next year. And I can hear Andy just came back here. Oh, Andy. Sorry, been messed about for the next headlines. Just give me back for the share screen.
Sorry about that, Kyle. I just had to run upstairs for a second.
Okay, it's all right. So I'm just going to repeat that for the next headlines. So the next headlines we talk about for the 77th Golden Globes Awards is on NBC. It was hosted by Ricky Gervais. So as you may know about for the best films and American television of 2019, it was at the Beverly Hills in Beverly Hills, California. Beverly Hilton's, like I said. Now the ceremony airs on live on NBC, so he's already hosted on the 77th. Now the nominees were announced on December 9th, 2019. Like you say, by Tim Allen, Dakota Fanning, and Suzanne Cheney-Waston. Marriage Stories earned a leading 6 nomination. Tom Hanks and Ellen DeGeneres were announced as a reception of the Cecil B. DeMille Award and the Carl Burton Award respectively. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won the most award for the ceremony with 3, including Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. 1917, Joker and Rocketman won 2 awards each, with 1917 winning Best Motion Picture Drama in Television. Succession, Feedback, and Chernobyl were the most awarded, with 2 awards each. The ceremony was nominated for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, Outstanding Variety Special Lives, and Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Special. I'm giving you guys for this list of the winners and nominees on the 77th Golden Globes Awards is on NBC. Probably, but it is. So, Eddie, what do you think about for the 77th Golden Globes Award? It was on NBC.
So I didn't watch this one. I didn't watch this one. I do know that Ricky Gervais was praised for that monologue. I think the point of the monologue was to say, especially in the times of pandemic, like, hey, listen, a lot of this Hollywood stuff is like not that necessary and kind of overblown. And I think he got a lot of credit for that. I think it was well received, but again, I didn't see it. I don't watch that many award shows. What about you? Do you watch a lot?
For every year at a time.
Okay, so you watch them every year.
Oh, right.
So if you watch it, maybe you should be giving your feedback instead of me.
A feedback? So what's the feedback means?
Feedback means what's your response to the award show?
Well, wherever you say the feedback, just write me comments below if you want to say something. It is completely up to you, like I said.
Mm-hmm. So did you think it was a good show?
Hopefully that does.
Okay.
And,
yeah, okay.
And here's where for Oprah Winfrey just came for the 2020 Vision Tour in, you probably sure like whoever knows about Vision at BT Center. But anyway, we get to for later that day. Okay, so the next headlines we're going to be talk about for the Qasem Soleimani deaths. Now, according to on CNN, Iraqi President Hassan Rouhani said Saturday the United States committed a grave mistake in killing Iraqi commander Qasem Soleimani, and that Americans will face the consequences of this criminal act not only today, but also in the coming years. His remark came on the same day mourners in neighboring Iraq were chanting "Death to America" at a funeral procession for Soleimani and an Iraqi militia leader who died with him in the U.S. airstrike in Iraq early Friday. The Americans did not understand what grave mistake they committed, Rouhani said while visiting the house of Soleimani's family in Tehran, according to the statement his office released. So, Andy, what do you think about Qasem Soleimani's death?
I think it was a horrible move by the United States. I think it was completely inappropriate. I think it was a criminal act. I think that we have really pushed the Iranians very far. And I would be shocked if they didn't retaliate. I think the foreign policy over the last 4 years under Donald Trump has been atrocious. And I feel like I would be shocked if Iran did not respond to this. What do you think, Kyle?
So, how interesting about news, but Andy's really interested about this news, what I chose about for this article. But hopefully, that has so many breaking news. And let me see what we have here. Hopefully, oh yeah, and I can see this part for the next headlines. Now, the next headlines we have Loy Huining head office has become increasingly media in Hong Kong. Now, according to the Radio Television Hong Kong, which starts with the RTHK, the new director of Beijing Liaison Office, Loy Huining, said on Monday that even though the SARS situation over the past 6 months has been worrying, he's confident that things will return to normal under the leadership of Chief Executive Carrie Lam. Speaking to reporters on his first day in office, the former chief of Shanxi province said even though he has worked on the mainland for years, Hong Kong is no stranger to him. Lui also praised Hong Kong's contributions to China and said the city plays a significant role in the country's development. The official said he will try his best to fulfill his duties, and he is confident that the Carrie Lam administration will fully and correctly implement one country systems, two systems in accordance with the country's constitution and the basic law, and maintain the city's stability and prosperities. So what do you think about Lo Huining head office have become increasingly media in Hong Kong?
What do I think?
What do you think?
I think they should give Hong Kong its true independence.
True independence. So like I said, you can read more articles on RTHK if you can. So let's talk. So I think that's about what I heard. Bing Dong's brother has something what he racks.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about for the Taiwanese star. Bing Dong responded to his brother's suicide. Now, according to this, Taiwanese actor Bing Dong's eldest brother and his family were found dead yesterday. That was on January 5th, in what police suspect to be a double murder-suicide yesterday. Li Minhong, at his age of 41, was discovered by a hiker less than 2 hours after his death, hanging from a tree in the woods in Taipei, along with the remains of his 40-year-old wife and 10-year-old son. According to reports, Minhong allegedly strangled his wife and son to death with a cotton rope before hanging himself. His motorbike, along with 3 helmets, were also found approximately 600 m away from the scene. Police investigation later revealed that a text message to a friend indicated that Ming Hong had rang up more than NT two MIL dollars, which is known as the $90,000 in debt, and was harassed by money lenders. It says about, I don't want to live anymore. I want to die. Read the text. So you can read more articles on today online about Ming Dao's brother has been suicide. So what do you think it is?
It's news to me. I was not aware of this person, and I wasn't aware of their suicide, but that's a shame.
That was Ming Dao's elder brother Ling Ming Hong has been found dead, that he
Yep.
suicide. So Ming Dao just react for his brother, but he will be miss his brother. Hmm. Who knows about Ming Dao? Hopefully. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. So the next headline, I think that is Soleimani, that we talk about for Soleimani's, and you're quite sure that he knows about. But anyway, let's get back to for the headlines. Now we're gonna talk. Now we're gonna talk about for next headlines about Hong, Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam believes the rival fixture in the new joint collaboration between director. Now, according to the South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's embattled leader has instituted that she will stay in office to help tackle public health and economic challenges. When asked if she was concerned that Beijing might replace her after changing its top representative in the city, Chief Executive Carrie Lam Chong-ying Noi also believed that she could work well in Lui Huining, who took over from Wang Jiming as director of the central government's Liaison office in the city on Saturday in the first major leadership change since anti-government protests broke out in June, sparked by the now withdrawn extradition bill. Lloyd appointment was announced by Xinhua News Agency, which did not give a reason for the change, but a source familiar with the operation of the liaison office previously said one the pressure was a gesture towards holding him. Hmm. Well, hopefully Andy just want to see who's doing it. But anyway, let me keep reading for you. Okay? See what up to towards holding him accountable for the pro-establishment camp's defeat in November's district council election. The bloc lost heavily, winning just 60 out of 452 seats across the city. So, like I said, if you read more article, it's completely up to you. So, Andy, what do you think about for the Hong Kong chief executive, Carrie Lam believes the vital fixture in the new joint collaboration between director?
Well, let's give it some time to see how it plays out. Actually, how about that?
Hmm. Well, it does like so. Whatever you say, so right.
Yep.
Well, let's see what we have. What's next on? I think so. The next headlines, like we said about 2020 year review. The next headlines we're going to be real about for the Ukrainian Boeing 737 crashes in Iraq. According to on NBC News, a Ukrainian Boeing 737 crash with at least 167 people aboard shortly after taking off from Tehran main airport early Wednesday, Iranian state TV reported. The crash was believed to have been caused by meteorological issues. State media reported the fate of those aboard was not yet known, as rescuers were forced to pause their efforts because of a fire. So you can read a whole article on NBC News if you can. So, Andy, what you heard about for the Ukrainian Boeing 737 crashes in Iran?
I haven't heard any of this before. This is all news to me. That's why I go to a worldwide campus and get my news. What do you think about it?
So, some people who might be damaged about the Boeing 737 just from the last 2014 on the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. It was in like, but it is. Hopefully, how much damage on the Boeing on the landing for the air crashes?
You got it. Listen, Kyle, I got to get back to work. But I think you can take the year in review from here, can't you?
Well, hopefully you guys get back to it, right? So I'm gonna save the rest of the 2020 year review on this post.
Sounds good, Kyle. Everybody at Worldwide Campus, have a wonderful day.
All right. So Andy has to get back to it, all right? So
Yep.
you have to subscribe me, all right?
You got it.
All right. Just follow me on my Instagram, WooGram99, and Facebook too, and Twitter.
I'm ready.
All right. Ready?
Later, guys.
Okay.
2021.
Later. 2021. Okay. So let's get back to the headlines, all right? I'm quite sure it's gonna be on here. All right. Now, you're probably sure this is for the next headlines. Now, let's talk about for Donald Trump addresses nation after Iran retaliatory Soleimani killing that he just responds. That you sure about for the US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that Iran appears to be standing down after the missiles attack on the US targets in Iraq, and the president vows to keep up the pressure with new sanctions. Addressing the nations from the White House and flanked by the U.S. uniformed generals, Trump said that no Americans were harmed in Iraq missiles attack on Tuesday night against American personnel in Iraq. At one point during his remark, Trump also spoke directly in Iran leaders and criticizing, saying that he wanted their countries to propose the partnership with the U.S. as long as it didn't pursue nuclear weapons and terror. Quite sure if you know there's any notes about for the responsible for 2020, just leave me comments below if you want to say. Before we go on to the COVID-19 pandemic, we do for the next one. With that on, and here's what we got here for the expats travel back vote Taiwan's heated presidential election. Now, according to NBC News, some fly for business, some for pleasure, but at least one Taiwanese American, Yinxuan Huang, took a long-haul flight to her native land for a different reason, to cast a ballot in the island's election on Saturday. I do feel so strongly that we should definitely and go out and vote, said Huang, 34. Oh yeah, a video editor who lives in Brooklyn, New York. Taiwan, the self-governing island of near 24 million people of the coast of China, doesn't permit voting by a centrist ballots promoting some Taiwanese to fly home to take part. Taiwan's government doesn't have official figures on how many Taiwanese American expats are expected to return to vote for a president and legislative representative. About 19.3 million people are eligible to cast ballots among the Taiwanese Americans who are dual citizens or who have legal residence and meet certain other conditions. Now, you can read more articles on NBC News if you haven't been thoughtful for Taiwan headed for a presidential election. And you question for there's so many news about 2020 before we get to move on to what they happened for the COVID-19. Now, this is what Kuomintang's fight goes far beyond Han's presidential bid. This is might be for Han Kuo-yu. Now, this is what on South China Morning Post, on the eve of Taiwan's election, the major presidential contenders made their final appeals to vote in front of the presidential office in Taipei. Tens of thousands of supporters for presidential Tsai Ing-wen, who is seeking re-election for the independence-leading Democratic Progressive Party (DPP), gathering in Kertang, revolving on Friday evening, waving pink and green party flags. Every one of us must vote, Tsai told the cheering crowd at the rally. This is for the sake of the young people in Taiwan, for the sake of their future. Tsai Ing-wen elect 2020, Taiwan will win, the crowds chanted, legislated more than half. Now, you might be interested for Kuomintang fights goes far beyond Han Kuo-yu's presidential bid, far beyond the victory. As you may know, you can maybe say something about the Taiwan's election. You know, Tsai Ing-wen evenly for the defeats on the Han Kuo-yu. Now, if you know about for Tsai Ing-wen's one re-election in Taiwan, now she just went around one against for the Han Kuo-yu. Now, this is why for the Taiwan's president, Tsai Ing-wen won a second term on Saturday with a comfortable victory over Han Kuo-yu in an election that had been cast as a referendum on the island's approach to Beijing. You can see that Tsai Ing-wen just waved their hands to all the crowds over the audience. One against for the Han Kuo-yu. Now, I'm going to see what's the next headlines for that on. Like I said, if you have any questions about for the 2020 review, just like I said for you, write me in the comments below. Now, I'm just going to get right through before who's going to be inviting me on the 2020 year in review. Now, there's a Zoom chatting right here if you want to say something, but certainly you can. And I'm just going to get back to for you to share screen. So the next headlines, we have the Philippines volcano erupts and evacuate. Now, according to this on NBC News, the sudden eruption of a Philippines volcano over the weekend has forced tens of thousands from their homes and grounded 500 flights in the country's main airport. Red hot lava gushed out of a Taal volcano on Monday, which pumped out ash that blew 62 miles north to capital Manila, closing its airport. Experts have warned that the interruption could get worse, and officials were planning to evacuate hundreds of thousands. There have been no reports of casualty or major damage so far after the eruption Sunday, but thousands of people had to be moved to safety from the danger zone in volcanoes' victory. Officials at the Philippines Government Disaster Management Agency told NBC News on Monday that nearly 22,000 people have already been evacuated. You're probably sure how much Philippines volcano eruption and evacuates, but who knows how that? Any questions, just give me comments, like I said for you guys. Now, the next one has a lot of things about CGTN. Now, this is what we have for Xi Jinping stresses improving supervision system. Now, according to on CGTN, Chinese President Xi Jinping has stressed strengthening checks and oversight over the exercise of power as he demanded consistency in full and strict governance over the Communist Party of China. Xi, also General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, made the remarks during a speech at the 4th Teng-hui section of the 19th Central Commission for diplomatic inspection of the CPC on Monday. He also stressed upholding and improving the party and state supervisory system, adding that the effort would ensure the party's line and policy and faithfully follow and provide a strong guarantee for securing victory in building a military prosperous society in all respects as well as fighting poverty. Now you can read here to click more articles about CGTN, like I wrote down the description below. Now we're going to see for the next headlines for the 2020 year in review. Now, let's talk about for the China attitude calls for lifting sanction on Zimbabwe. Now, here's what we got here again for CGTN. China fully support the just call by Zimbabwe and within Africa to lift sanctions against the country as soon as possible. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said on Monday. Wang made the remarks during a meeting with Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa, who pledged to strengthening cooperation with the African countries. Wang said China support the efforts of the Zimbabwe people to safeguard its national sovereignty and national dignity and back its independent choice of a path to deployment in lines with its national conditions. Thanking Zimbabwe for its valuable support in relations that China's core interest, Wang said China is willing to share its governance experience and to push forward bilateral cooperation to benefit the two peoples. Now you might share who they knows about for it. But I'm gonna get back to for the Oprah Winfrey that just give you guys for posted on the Instagram stories. Now on the CBS News, Gil King and David Bando just came here what they visit for. You know, this is what Oprah Winfrey came back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to going BB&T Center for her 2020 Vision Tour begins live on stage, and all of the winners of the Weight Watchers to be proud. And you hopefully got here for the with Jennifer Schenker on NBC News on Today's Show, followed by Entertainment Tonight correspondent Rachel Smith with Greeting by Oprah. Then Gail King on CBS This Morning came to visit Oprah Winfrey in Miami, learning WW, formerly Weight Watchers for Women's Health, taking in soul food restaurants to eat at Little Greenhouse Grill, and David Begnaud is joining here to visit with Oprah and Gail too. Hopefully, Oprah Winfrey loves to have to see all the women's for the Weight Watchers. All right, so I'm gonna see what's next on. Now, the next one, the headlines we get to go right belongs with. Now, this is what for the Chief Justice Jeffrey Ma says the individual right overtake others' right. Now, according to Hong Kong Free Press, Hong Kong's top judge said on Monday that the judiciary has set up a task force to examine how the courts can cope with the sharp rise in criminal trial related to the ongoing citywide protests. Speaking the ceremonial opening of the legal year on Monday, Chief Justice Jeffrey Ma said the newly formed task force will look into how best and how essentially to handle the increased caseload, including the possibility of judge sitting for extensive hours. Now you can read more that you want to see on this link on the Hong Kong Free Press, HKFP. Now, you probably sure for this Oscar nomination for this kind. Now, heard about here for in the 2020 Academy was on ABC for these. I'll pick you guys for the Oscars 2020. Let me you guys put this on the Wikipedia. Now, this is about for the 90 Seconds Academy Awards. This is about for this presented by the Academy of Motion Picture. Motion Pictures, Art, and Science, which starts with the AMPSA. Actually, it's AMPAS, all right? On a film released in 2019 and took place on February 9, 2020 at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles. That was beginning for the 5-year altitude in Los Angeles, probably for the US Western, US West, and the 8 in the US East. During the ceremony, the AMPAS presented Academy Awards, commonly referred to as Oscars, in 24 categories. The ceremony, televised in the United States by ABC, was produced by Stephanie Alley and Laurenti Taylor and was directed by Glenn Weiss. 3 months earlier in the ceremony at the Ray Dolby Ballroom of the Hollywood and Highlight Center in Hollywood held on October 27, 2019, the Academy held its 11th annual Government Awards ceremony. Parasite won 4 awards, including Best Picture, the first non-English language film to win that award. Other winners include 1917 with 3 awards, Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with 2 awards, and American Factory, Bombshell, Hair Love, Jojo Rabbit, Judy, Learning to Skateboard in a War Zone, If You're a Girl, Little Women, Marriage Stories, The Neighbor's Window, Rocketman, and Toy Story 4 with 1. The telecast gathered 23.64 million viewers, making it the least watched Oscar broadcast since 1974, with NASA began keeping records of viewership. Now, you're probably sure it has pre-show hosted for these 4. Now, the best picture, it was The Parasite, hopefully just 1. Let me give you guys for this on this list for the winners and nominees. You might be interested about for the Oscars in 2020. And hopefully get be big fan of the motion pictures of this film. And I actually may know about. So this is gonna be plenty of the 2020 of this year review for this. You know how much you interested about 2020 moments away. Now, talking about for Nancy Pelosi calls for witnesses at Trump trial after a new evidence. Now, here's what on ABC News. The House voted on Wednesday to send 2 articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump to the Senate, a move that will allow his trial to begin on Tuesday. The 2 articles charging Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress will later be walked from the House side of the Capitol to the Senate side. The House vote also formally approached the 7th manager selected by a Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the Calaf, to prosecute the case against the president. So you can read the whole article on here on this link below on ABC News, like I show you for this description below. So I probably know that you guys for having more times to give this to right. Like I said, we do it for the 3 hours Zoom live streaming. Now this is one for the Hong Kong liaison office where nothing can change. Nothing can change it. One country, two system. Now on CGTN, no forces can challenge the principle of one country, two system, the central governor's New Hong Kong representative said on Wednesday. Lloyd Huining, the newly appointed director of the liaison office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administration regions, gave the remarks at the 2020 Spring Festival reception. Let's cherish our home. Hong Kong and make the best use of one country, two system, Liu urged, amid the prolonged social unrest in the city triggered by a fugitive offender legislation bill since last June. So, like I said, we read the whole article on CGTN. Now, we're going to get to right through here. I'm quite sure it is what might be pushed ways on. I'm probably sure you guys might be have to see. Now, anyway, now here's what Trump and Liu signed phase one by U.S.-China trade deal. Now, according to on South China Morning Post that we might be showing for it, that came here for posted in Washington, D.C. According to the SCMP, the United States and China signed a particle trade agreement on Wednesday amid putting the brake on an 18-month trade war between the world's two largest economies. With provision covering purchases, commitments, financial market accesses, intellectual prosperity, protection, and enforcement, the phase one deal was made final by U.S. President Donald Trump and China's chief trade negotiator, Vice Premier Liu He. The incremental deal is designed to be the first in a new series of agreement intended to end a trade conflict that has since tariffs slapped on hundreds of billions of dollars, with a trade resulting supply chains, shaking markets, increasing consumers' costs, and contributing to a global growth slowdown. Today, we take a monumental step, one that has never been taken before with China. Trump said before inking the agreement with Liu in the White House East Room. The room was packed with business executed in visit by the administration, as well as reporters, U.S. lawmakers, Trump cabinet officials, and members of the Chinese delegation. So, if you're interested about Trump and Liu signs phase one by U.S.-China trade deal, let me know in the comments below on YouTube. That if you have any other questions. So we get back to for the CGTN for what it has for it. Okay, so we know how we can solve what was the China's veterans TV host Jia Zhongxiang dies at the age of 78. Now, according to on CGTN, Jia Zhongxiang, a famous Chinese news anchor, television host, and reporter, died at the age of 78 on Thursday in Beijing. He joined the China Central Television, CCTV, in 1960, becoming China's first male television presenter. He was the first Chinese reporter to accompany Deng Xiaoping during his visit to the United States in 1979. He was invited to the White House during that trip. Starting 1984, Zhao hosted the Spring Festival Gala over 10 times, featuring a balanced and calm style. He hosted some well-known shows like Animal World, Human and Nature, Gendai Variety Show. As a wildlife activist, he tried to raise people's environmental awareness, including the protection of endangered animals. After his son made the announcement on social media, many, many netizens paid their last respect to the TV veterans. You probably should be interested. How do you know about for Zhao Zhouxiang that he already appears about CGTN, or actually for the China Central Television? Now, next we have on the United Kingdom. See what the next headlines are. Now, this is what for the Prince Harry's on first royal duty since talks to the Queen. Okay, so here's what we got on BBC News. The Duke of Sussex has met young rugby player at his first public event since he and the Duchess of Sussex said they would step back from royal life. Prince Harry laughed and joked as he met children in Buckingham Palace's gardens ahead of the Rugby League World Cup's 2021 draw, which he hosted. He also met representatives of the 21 nations playing in the World Cup. Meghan and the couple's son Archie are in Canada, but the Duke will reportedly stay in the UK for meetings next week. You can click here, or actually you can also able to see, you can copy this link below on BBC News. That you have any question about Prince Harry on first royal duty since talks with the Queens, probably Eddie just left it, but it is completely up to you if you want to say something for it. Okay, I'm quite sure what comes for the next headlines. Now, you're probably sure what you're interested, what you know for it. Xi Jinping arrives in Mali for a state visit. Can you see that? It is that now you may be sure about Chinese President Xi Jinping and Mali State Councilor Aung San Suu Kyi held cordial and friendly talks at Mali Presidential Palace on Friday. That you might be always can two parties on shake their hands. It was here for it in the developed suited in its national conditions. And I should make sure and you can able to have that one. Now, moving on to this for the next headlines to review. Now, this is what for the magnitude 6.4 earthquake hits in Xinjiang. Now, what that says on CGTN, this is what be for disturbing images. A 6.4 magnitude earthquake at a depth of 60 km hit Kashgar, northwest China's Xinjiang automotive region, according to the China Earthquake Network Center. The quake took place at 9:27 p.m. BJT on Sunday, followed by multiple aftershocks. There are currently no report of casualty or damages. You probably sure how much danger for this earthquake for magnitude. Probably see about the worst. So you think about this is the best news or the worst news about 2020? Just let me know in the comments, all right? Now I'm gonna see what's the next headlines for that. Okay, now we get to hear for on the next the United Kingdom for this one. Now this is what Prince Harry and Princess Meghan. Okay, so we said about here for at the royalty. Now we're gonna learn for Harry and Meghan's new royal arrangement split option in UK. Now, according to this on NBC News, Buckingham Palace's announcement that Prince Harry's and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, will no longer use their royal highness titles or receive public funds or for royal duties appears to have split options in the UK. With the agreement in Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, and Prince William, the pair will be allowed to step back from royal duties, and Prince Harry will no longer be required for official military appointments. The pair will also no longer be funded by the British taxpayer. However, the couple will be allowed to continue to maintain their private partners and association. And you might be here, kind of be like on, just about what the potentially royal divorce. Now, let me get you back to you for the next headline. So, I can't what the dog box on here, but anyway, let's move on to for the next review, shall we? Okay, so the next one we have the Prince Harry says he and Meghan had no other options but to step back. Now, here's what we got here for on NBC News. Harry and his wife Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, had no other options but to step back from their roles in the British royal family. Harry said in a speech during a charity event Sunday night that was posted to the couple's Instagram account. I accepted this, knowing that it doesn't charge who am I or how committed I am, but I hope that helps you understand what it had come to, that I would step my family back from all I've ever known, Harry said in his first public comments about the royal break. Now, you're probably sure you get beyond the previous video. And we get here too for the press conference on Hong Kong that we want on the protests that you might be stopped. Now, you're probably sure about the Wuhan arrived passengers 21 onwards must fill in health declaration forms, and probably sure in hopefully it's the COVID-19 pandemic will just came. Now, since beginning for the December 2019 came before first, I'm quite sure what's going to be over on. Now, I'm just giving you guys for more of the details about Donald Trump open speech at World Economic Forum annual meeting, right behind for the World Economic Forum. Now, this is what for the CNN politics. U.S. President Donald Trump attacked climate activists as perennial heads of doom on Tuesday while addressing in the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, where the agenda is focused on tackling the climate crisis. Trump remarks underscore the tension between his destinal view of climate change and the overwhelming significance constitutes driving the rest of the developing world to action. Speaking shortly after the teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg accused world leaders of not taking action, Trump rejected call for urgent action and encouraged the world to instead embrace optimism. Now, you're probably sure how much of the previous about the Prince Harry and Meghan. You probably know about whatever you want to say something for. Now, you see, for the Prince Harry begins new life in Canada away for the royal family. That's about where. Now, he arrives in Canada on Monday evening, between a new life away from the royal family after a few weeks in London. The prince was shown arriving on Vancouver Island to join his wife Meghan and their son Archie, who have been staying on the island since she left in the UK. So let me see what we got here for next. Now, you probably saw on the highway for the coronavirus in Wuhan, probably on here, but right now, Wuhan has always stay clean. Okay. Sorry about getting my slip. Now, next one, we have Kobe Bryant reportedly dead in helicopter crash. Now, so what that says on NBC News, Los Angeles Laker legend Kobe Bryant was reportedly killed in a helicopter crash on Sunday morning. He was 41. 4 other people on board died and there were no survivors. The Los Angeles County Sheriff Department said. Both the Los Angeles Times and ESPN reported that Bryant, widely regarded to be one of the biggest players of his generation, was among the dead. Well, hopefully you got be. If you interested about Kobe Bryant, let me know in the comments. Like I said to you guys, I'm quite sure it is about Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter. Probably the same. It was about, you heard it, things breaking news about helicopter crash. Now, it's just about learning about what happened when Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, caused their landing by the helicopter crash. So that's been totally sad. Like I said to you guys, the best 2020 and the worst 2020. Okay, so next we have the Grammys hosted by Alicia Keys. So I'm just giving you at the Wikipedia that is on NBC, or okay, not NBC, CBS. Okay, so it is about on CBS. Probably will be coming up on the 60 60 second. It is. Now, it was, so this Grammy ceremony was held on January 26th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. It recognized the best recording, composition, and artist of the established year, running from October 1st, 2018 to August 31st, 2019. So actually hosted. Alicia Keys hosted the ceremony, having hosted the previous year's ceremony as well. Lizzo received the most nomination of any artist with 8, followed by Billie Eilish and Lil Nas X with 6 each. Phineas received the most awards with 6. Eilish became the first artist to win the major tour categories of Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist in the same year since Christopher Cross in 1981. 10 days prior to the ceremony, Recording Academy President Deborah Dugan was relieved of her duties and as president and CEO and placed on administration leave from the organization. She sparked controversy by claiming that the organization engaged in corruption and favorism. Champagne Billy Claire Salmon responded by pulling their ads from the broadcast. and Megyn Kelly, Gabrielle Union, and others tweeted their support on Duggan. The ceremony was held on the same day as the death of basketball player Kobe Bryant, to whom's memory Keys and Boys' second man declared their performance of "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday." Well, that was the tribute of Kobe Bryant. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. It was a song by Boys Second Man. So I'm going to see what's coming up next for the next headlines. And as you may know, so this might be a WHO declare for it stands for the World Health Organization. So after the Wuhan just stay clean, the whole city of the Wuhan just clean, like I said, for it after they got rid of the COVID-19. But right now, all the countries got caught by the COVID-19 because there has to be clean outside of the city. So I'm just going to see what's next for the headlines. Okay. So the next headlines, we have the Britain's finally say goodbye to Europe and leaves European Union after Brexit. Now this is what it is. The United Kingdom officially left the European Union on Friday, bringing on ends of 47 years of membership and more than 3 years of political uncertainty, rancor, and division with the Brexit divorce now officials. The UK has walked away from the world's largest political and economic club. A historic milestone they took, set to define the former empire's allegiance in the rapidly shifting geographical landscape. In a record speech, Prime Minister Boris Johnson praised the moment as the dawn of a new era and vowed to help heal a deeply divided nation. Now for sports. This is one for the Super Bowl. Okay, now you may be sure before in how they get very interested about the Super Bowls. A game was played on February 2nd, 2020 on the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. This scores it has for the San Francisco 49ers has 20 and Kansas City Chiefs scored by 31. Hopefully Kansas City just won for the Super Bowl 2020. Really sensitive. So very importantly I'm going to see what's we have for, I'm probably sure it is, we have more of the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh yeah. Here's one for the British Academy Film and Television Awards. I'm gonna see what, yeah, BAFTA. Sorry, I don't want to lose my breath. Now, so the 73rd British Academy Film Awards was held on February 2nd, 2020, at the Royal Albert Hall in London, honoring the best national and foreign film of 2019. Presented by the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Accolades were handed out for the best feature-length film and documentaries of any nationality that was screened at British cinemas in 2019. Now, he just already hosted by Graham Norton. So the nominees were announced for on January 7th. The psychological thriller Joker received the most nomination in 11 categories. The Irishman and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood followed with 10 each. The ceremony also marked the introduction of the BAFTA Award for Best Casting. Shayna Marchworth won for Joker. The ceremony was hosted by Graham Norton, who also hosts the BAFTA TV Awards. That has been already replacing Jonah Limmerly following her 2 years of service as host. Now, this list for the winners and nominees. All right, let me see what else we got here for next. Now, you're probably sure in the State of the Union, so Donald Trump's going to be going to be reviewing for from last year what he interests. So he was at a great American comeback and tells the nation that he will never let socialism destroy American healthcare. During his State of the Union address Tuesday night, according to prepared remarks. Now, you're probably sure Donald Trump's right on the middle. Mike Pence give that applause, and then Nancy Pelosi just ripping the form in half. Right. Now, what we have for next? I'm quite sure there's so many of COVID-19 pandemic on our news. And I'm having to see that for, oh yeah. Now, alongside for that, for the COVID-19. Now, this is what the, China to look into that doctor who raised early alarm on new virus. Now he just put mask on, that needs to still on. I'm just gonna take my time, right? Now, you probably sure for China's National Supervisory Commission is to send a special term to Wuhan, central China's Hubei province, to investigate the public uproar over the deceased Dr. Li Wenliang, who was one of the first to raise an early alarm over the novel coronavirus. So he has been died at Wuhan City at 2:58 BJT at midnight on February 7th. Well, I don't want to get tired anymore. Gonna see what's next on here for. Yeah, I might click on the new tab. Now this is one for the massive shooting in Thailand. Now it was a Thai soldier killed at least 20 in shooting ravages remain holed up in the shopping mall. Probably this might be the disturbing images. That's the worst. So as you may can see, where a soldier has killed at least 20 people and injured 31 others. So, like I said to you, any questions, write me a comments, all right? I'm quite sure what next it is going to be on. Well, oh yeah, there it goes. So what we have here, it is about the Las Vegas Democratic presidential debate. It is about for 6 Democrats hope to make an impact in Las Vegas days ahead of the Nevada caucus. Mike Bloomberg is hoping to shake up the race in his first Democratic debate. Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Joe Biden will battle for the moderate vote, and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren will grapple for the party's left wings. Right now, this is what the 70th Berlin International Film Festival is about. Let's see what the Berlin. I'm gonna make sure. Well, it is about for the at the. It says like this Berlin is for the International Ale Film Festival Berlin. Let me check what the year goes with. Yeah, it is for 2020. That has took place in February 20th to March 1st. It was the first under the leadership of the new Berlin Film Festival heads. Business Administration Director Mariette Rasenbeek and Artistic Director Carlo Chadwick. The festival opened with the opening gala presented by actor Samuel Finzi, followed by the world premiere of the film My Shangri Year, which was select from the Berlin special section. The Golden Bear was awarded to the erotic film There Is No Evil, directed by Moraman Radulov. Let me just give you guys for in competition. So you might be interested for the Berlin International Film Festival. Right. I'm just see. I don't want to lose my breath anymore. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna have see what's next. Hopefully it is about yeah. CBS News arrives with Charleston of the Democratic. Uh, Probably who yeah, it is really what okay. Now you may sure about Laws Foreign Minister who says about China's economy can recover quickly after outbreak. Who can fight for the COVID-19 probably sure. Hopefully next year will be almost better. Look at this. There's so many of the news for the COVID-19. And I love this part. And this is what we're here for in South Korea. All right. Now, you may sure about the South Korea coronavirus cases is see 4,200 with 26 deaths. So he select headset side for the outbreak spread with that one. And you probably sure you can read about the Korean health web. Can you see that? Right, that he's got to be bowed. In quite sure it is about here. You can all those for the press conference on this briefing. You can easily see here to right behind under the State Council Information Office PRC what they're going to be. Just update about for the what they did for the COVID-19 pandemic. And I was gonna be able to say for the David Bagnells for Instagram live streaming what they did about for in Puerto Rico. Oh yeah, I just forgot to make sure to mention about this. So, as you may know, for the President Donald Trump will declare a national emergency Friday to help speed up the government's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Two administration officials told NBC News. The declaration would allow the swifter distribution of aid to state and local governments and remove other hurdles to a wide range of response measures. Also, we have Tom Hanks posted an update from Australia where he is in isolation with his wife, Rita Wilson, after they test positive for COVID-19. And what they're saying, we have COVID-19 and are in isolation, so we do not spread it to anyone else. There are those for whom it could lead to a very serious illness. We are taking it one day at a time. The actor posted on Instagram late Thursday. So he was 63 that he posted on Wednesday on Instagram that while in Australia, he and his wife came down with symptoms resembling a cold. as well as body edges are slight fevers. Hopefully they'll be almost better. And you're probably sure it is about Xi Jinping asked for the Italian PM host for the telephone call. You can see that he holds up here that it was the virus in Italy on the phone call for it. That he had a telephone conversation with Italian Prime Minister. I think this is about going to be country on Monday night at the latter's request. Let me see what's holds up here. I'm quite sure Dr. John Torres on NBC News on Facebook Live, they do for the Q&A for the answering the question, what thing that let you know for on this for all the headlines for the COVID-19 pandemic. You see that, guys? I'm trying to make sure to save one for the, or actually, what can we actually replay from the Instagram live stream? Now, this is what for the Serena Little dies at his age of 44. Now, she was a Taiwan ballroom dancing queen. He has died at the age of 44 on Sunday night, March 22nd. That was what the Taiwanese media reported. So, she fell into a coma after undergoing a heart valve repair surgery at the Taipei Veterans General Hospital on February 7th. She went for another operation later to remove a blood clot in her brain. She was also put on extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, a life support medicine, while waiting for her transplants. Both her husband, singer Shin Long, and her manager remain uncomfortable by phone. Taipei Veterans General Hospital confirmed on Monday morning that Liu dies at 10:22 in the evening on Sunday. Just read more articles on the Star. So I'm just going to make sure. I want to get my breath. Probably sure it's some plenty of the responsible for the COVID-19 for the pandemic. I'm going to see what's coming for the next one. Hopefully it is like, hey, I know about this for the quarantine. Right, hopefully that's mostly posted on the in the Instagram stories to replay for the Instagram live that we get replay on the self quarantine. Now you probably know for oh yeah. So Morgan Chesky that learns about the strike of the on Alaska tornado, that it was about, or at least had 2 to 3 people dead on 3 people injured. You can quite sure putting the mask on. So you can see what we have. And it is like there's a lot of headlines about the COVID-19 pandemic. So as you may know about for the deliberate speech, can you see a deliberate speech? I think that may be so. At the opening ceremony of the WHA session, so it will provide $2 billion over 2 years to help with COVID-19 response and with economic and social development in affected countries, especially developing countries, said Chinese President Xi Jinping on Monday. I think this is like I said, for the WHO, which is for the World Health Organization. So I gotta make sure to I don't want to lose, not to lose my breath. I gotta make sure to stay healthy, all right? It is like so many news. I'm just gonna get here to click more what they got for. Oh, I know this about this one. So this is what for Stanley Hong Sung, the president of Asia's largest casino empires for half of a century, and a man whose very name is synonymous with Macau race to overtake Las Vegas as the world's gambling capital has died. According to his family, he was 98. That was on for the South China Morning Post that it knows about for the casinos. If you have any question, what was about for the Macau casinos, monarchy, Stanley Ho has died at his age of 98. Like I said to you, write me a comments below on the description for on Zoom, or you can also use it on YouTube comments. Now we also about the NPC deputies proposed making China's foreign sovereignty immunity law. It's about like 35 deputies to the 13th National People's Congress is to have co-signed and submitted a proposal to make China's foreign sovereignty immunity law during the country's annual legislative session. That's about here for, there's so many of the COVID-19 pandemic out. Hopefully that needs to be clean. Now the next one for the breaking, talk about here for the George Floyd death. Now you probably sure how he got arrested before he might be dead. So what they do for it, as you know, in Minnesota, you can see where George Floyd took his last breath. Now a memorial stands to honor George Floyd. The memorial is being maintained as protected by volunteers. And you may sure can see Craig Melvin visiting Metropolitan for George Floyd's death. He's on the Today Show. Well, give us out to pray for George Floyd. Okay, finish that. Oh yeah. Now this is about at this quarantine for the daytime Emmy Awards. So it was about for the 47th annual daytime Emmy Awards recognized the noteworthy achievement for over 2,700 daytime television program during 2019 in 100 categories, which are awarded to received it from homes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that was on air on CBS. Now you can read more for this article for Entertainment Weekly. But that was about here for General Hospital led with 23, while Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless followed with 22 and 21. I'm going to see what's have here more what they interested for the 2020. Well, you probably sure we heard the stories about the Donald Roses on a long longer for the sprout has been caught into the COVID-19 that he got passed away. Oh yeah. Now I can see what we got for the Broadway actor. So here's what that is for here. Nick Cordero wife Amanda Clues confirmed her husband has died following 95 days in a Los Angeles hospital. The Broadway star was diagnosed with COVID-19 in April and suffered a series of related complications, including having to have one of his legs amputated. His wife said she and their son Elvis will miss him in everything we'll do every day. Oh, and I forgot, and I got to see what I have here for more depths. Now, about here for the John Lewis, longtime Georgia Congressman and civil rights activist Representative John Lewis died on Friday at his age of 80, after a months-long battle with cancer. The son of sharecroppers, Lewis became a giant of the civil rights movement after leading the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and helping to organize the March on Washington in 1963. He suffered a skull fracture at the hand of Alabama State Trooper during the Selma March in 1965. I'm quite sure they still have plenty of hours. Oh yeah, and I know this, Bob. And here's what Regis Philbin. So that he has put the latest pop culture for the longtime television personality. Has died from last Friday at his age of 88. And shares some tributes of the Regis that all the fans who wants to know Regis Philbin, like for the live with Regis and Kathy Lee, live with Regis and Kelly, live with Regis, even like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So you gotta be, are you a big fan of Regis Philbin? Just let me know in the comments below. Now this is where for the massive explosion in Beirut. That is about for here on with the lesbian PM Hassan Debloy said the explosion that rocked the capital of Beirut, killing at least 50 and injuring thousands on Tuesday, was caused by an estimated 2,750 tons of automaton nitrate left unsecured in a warehouse. Thereby said the material had been presented in the warehouse for 6 years without preventive measures. I would not rest until we find the person responsible for what happened, he said. Now, also we got here for the hurricane, as long as broke through in the East Coast. This is what, as the wreck has it on the East Coast with strong winds and torrential rain for over 33 miles under tornado watches. You're probably sure it was in North Carolina. That was where an isolated main landfalls in about in 85 mph categories. And I can see what they wrote in the comments about one hurricane late Monday night near Ocean Isle Beach. More than 300,000 people were still without power Tuesday morning. So I'm gonna I'm gonna see what we have here for. There's so many of the more COVID-19 pandemic. Pardon me. So I'm just want to make sure to have the Democratic National Convention for 2020 that I'm going to give you guys for at the Wikipedia just a moment ahead. Well, that's about here. This Democratic National Convention for this year. was a presidential nominating convention that was held from August 17 to 20 at the Wisconsin Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and eventually across the United States. So I'm going to see what comes after Democratic. Hopefully that is about Republican. So after Democratic, Republic will take turn. Now, just the same as the Democratic. So it was a presidential nominating convention in which delegates in the United States Republican Party select the party's nominees for president and vice president in the 2020 United States presidential election held from August 24th to 27th. So you might be reaction for the Democratic and Republican. Okay, now talk about here in this for the typhoon. It was the Hurricane Laura blows through the Gulf Coast. So as they approached the landfalls for the Gulf Coast hospital and hotel shelters prep for the threat of the storms and pandemic. For this one, you might be sure this is the Hurricane Laura. Hurricane Laura, probably got some waves around here that blows over. Now, also, there's other typhoons about the powerful typhoon Bobby has approaching in Korea. Now, this is what for the Korean monitoring administration warned the southern regions to brace for Typhoon Bobby on Wednesday, which was already uprooting trees as they approach. Can you see that umbrellas didn't realize didn't have, or actually this umbrella, as you may bends over here, could probably like a form into it, and the wind's so strong. The one, how extreme is that? I'm gonna give you guys a click more here. Now, this is where for the Milwaukee Bucks don't take floors over shooting of Jacob Blake. That's about for it. Don't take floors to Game 5 playoff series in approach response to police shooting of Jacob Blake, but it did not appear on the court to tip off against Orlando Magic in an apparent boycott after the police shooting of Jacob Blake. So it wasn't immediately clear if Game 5 of the first round playoff matchup would be played Wednesday, the best of 7 series 3.1. And now you can be interested for the Dutch PM Mark Rutte met with the Chinese FN Wang Yi. That is about for the free trade and cooperation top the Chinese foreign minister. And that he came for the visit to the Netherlands. I also got to tell you about this one. Now, before under the elections, this is what for the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that he's going to be on the running mate. Now you know about this one for the former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden select for the U.S. Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate for he'll be on here for November. Hopefully you guys be a big fan. Ooh, I just need to stay hydrated. Just I'm sniffing around. I'm just going to make sure to stay healthy, all right? Now, here's what the former Indian president Pranab Mukherjee got passed away as Mother Science said the country lost one of its greater leaders. So as above here for the former president has earlier this month undergone brain surgery at their army research and referral hospital in the nation's capital. Earlier today, his condition deteriorated further, and he was in a state of respiratory shock due to a lung infection. Well, you know about this one for the Pranab Mukherjee died at the age of 84. Now, back in the pop culture about the Marvel Studio. For this one about the black. Oh, anyway, let me just get for now. You know about this one for the Chadwick Boseman. So it was that he knows about here Jackie Robinson on 42. You know, for the historicals for the baseballs. Right now, he all appears for the first day for the Marvel Studios for this movie Black Panther. As made parts like you did for Stanley. If you're interested, you can share something for the tributes of the Chadwick Boseman that all the fans who wants to know about it. So if you're interested about Chadwick Boseman, write me in the comments below if you want to say just the same. And also we have here for the 77th Venice Film Festival for the International. Like you see about Kate Blanchett. So it was held for the September 2nd to the 12th for the outbreak in the more recent format due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Australian actress Kate Blanchett was appointed as the president of the jury. For the open film, The Ties, for the festival day for the also the closing film for the You Come Back. For the number of film for 66. So you're probably interested for this fans of the Kate Blanchett on the 77th Venice Film Festival. So I read before mentioned for about in Korea. For this pretty honorable mentions, this is about for the Shinzo Abe announced his recognition. That he knows about for the Shinzo Abe, Japan's longest serving prime minister, says he will resign because of his health issues. That you know be here for you can see for NBC News. This is about for the poor health, he announced on Friday at the news conference in Tokyo. In 66-year-old said he will remain in office until a successor is named for within his Liberal Democratic Party. So I got to make sure, just keep it one. See what we're up to about. It is about 3:07. Now, this is what, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they do for the video conference for on this speech. All those countries is about in Beijing. Like I give you for China firmly support for the United Nations leadership in the international affairs. So he learns for the China firmly support for the U.S. Central. As you know about for the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday that China has no intention to upset the was quote in the relation to the international system, but to improve UN-led global governance. Now, you probably sure about the COVID-19 for the pandemic. Always have to stay home, be safe, be healthy. You gotta stay strong. If you're going outside, you have to put your mask on, wear disposable gloves, bring some hand sanitizer. Now, after that, come back home, take it off. After what we do for the next day, make sure to wash your hands using soap and water every 20 seconds that you had to go to the bathroom. Okay, so now this is what for the Nobel Prizes. Like this, it is about who they won for this on the social lives. See how many got here that I posted for. I think this is but it is 3. That's about for the 3 scientists who will study for the black hole. One for the Nobel Prize in Physics. Also for the R&D Gen Scissors, Billy Laws Solar's wins. And of course, for the American poet, Louis Gluck wins the Nobel Prize. Here's we got here for Kuwait Sheikh Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah dies at age of 91. Now that was about the ruler of the oil-rich Gulf Kingdom of Kuwait, Sheikh Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah has died. According to the statement television, he was 91. You see it? That's why he has been got passed. Okay, I'm gonna see what's we have for oh yeah. Now, as I mentioned for the positive for the COVID-19. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the Nobel Prize. It right here. This is for the physically and the medicine. 3 scientists. Now, you're probably sure for those Trump got test positive for COVID-19. What was about for here for the U.S. President Donald Trump and his First Lady Melania are just positive for COVID-19. That he already announced it on Twitter early on Friday. So if you heard the start about this Twitter, is about here, like we will begin for our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together. So after test positive, that he came back to the Washington D.C. Then he take off removing his mask off. Like he has downplaying virus that has torn through the countries, returning to the White House and shed masks for the photo opportunities. And it says about here, you can also even tweet it, says to let it donate to your life. Okay, we're almost getting right through here for the 2020 for the month. Hey, I bet you know what that. Oh, yeah, I know this one. I noticed about another Nobel Prizes. Instead of 3, only got 5. with the Paul R. Milgrens and Robert B. Wilson wins the Nobel Prize in economics. Oh, pardon me. And this is why for more of the tropical storms Nangka near Hong Kong. It's a pardon me. It was about for the HKO. We place on the number a signal with strong wing signal no 3 at 7:40 p.m. on Tuesday as tropical storm Nangka move away from the side. So read a whole paragraph on the RTHK. Now you talk about here for the judge Emmy Bryant that MSNBC correspondent Gary Hayes basically inside the United States Capitol behind the Supreme Court and the hearing room where Amy Coney Barrett has been only for the nomination. Has been wearing the mask on. Now, you see about here for Donald Trump and Joe Biden has doing town halls. What they says, it was on the gate for the Q errand of both, but forgot to attack Joe Biden, who called his own crime ball a mistake, and sent have viewers for court charge depends. You can click here on the Today Show. Let's only have 2 nights instead of 3, but that all have to reschedule. Sometimes it might be canceled, only one that been taken away. Now, you might share for who they want Trump-Biden debate, well, expert greater than candidates. So he was related, most important, performed at Thursday night final presidential debate, but a panel of experts said the Biden was more effective was his arguments. That's about here for the 3 experts of all agree in 90-minute face-off in Nashville. Was more informative than the chaotic first debate in Cleveland last month, but one noted. That's a very low bar. Also, we have here, before we get to the back for the elections, I'm going to give you guys Sean Connery that he plays for the first appearance of James Bond. Sean Connery plays for the spy of James Bond for the 007. Dr. No, Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever. I said about that. Diamonds Are Forever. You have only lived twice. From Russia with Love. Now you can hear on some of the, you can see on some of the tributes about Sean that are all the fans who want to know about, who interested, that he had been died, that he passed away at his age of 90 from last Halloween. So if you're interested about Sean Connery, write me in comments below. Now this is what for the CIIE boost for China's dual circulation development pattern, which will be held from the November 5th to 10 in Shanghai, makes it clear that China's new dual circulation development strategy by no means implies that the country will start further opening up. On Tuesday night, Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered a speech via a video during the opening ceremony. This showed the importance the Chinese government attaches to the event, as well as China's opening up efforts. Now, the one probably sure for the CIIE in Shanghai for the next next for a long time ago, but hopefully it does. We're gonna see what else we have next. So voters have been already just give that collect. See what for the U.S. presidential election for 2020. Now for this result, now it was for the 59th quadrennial presidential election held on Tuesday, November 3rd. Now that's what for the Wikipedia just said it for. Well, that's my source for the guide. Now, Joe Biden just won for the election, beat against with Donald Trump. So, like I said, we got to miss for Donald Trump leaving from the Washington D.C. Look at this one. If you're interested for the 2020 U.S. presidential election that Joe Biden just won, write me in comments below, like I said to you. Now, I'm going to see what's the next headlines. That's about the BRICS. Oh, and of course. You see that Joe Biden just won for the election. During for the quarantine. So Joe Biden became the president-elect on Saturday after winning Philadelphia, NBC News has projected. He has focused his campaign agreement on President Donald Trump's widely criticized handling of the coronavirus pandemic, which was seen by many voters as the most important issue facing the countries. Biden will become the 46th president on January 20th. He'll be coming, but we can't wait. Now, talk about in the Jeopardy on the game show. So you can see what the longtime Jeopardy host with Al-Sabah, assured by a generation of trivia immense, dies on Sunday at the age of 80. The official Jeopardy Twitter account confirmed the news. So he stunned fans of the high-minded game show last year when he announced he had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He was the face of Jeopardy since 1984 and won 5 daytime Emmy Awards, was honored with a Lifetime Achievement awarded from the National Academy of Television Arts and Science in 2011. Now, who knows what they're going to replace it by Al-Sabah? Well, you can ask for Ken Jenny that he knows about this. Like I said, if you're interested for Ken, like I said to you guys, if you're interested about Al-Sabah, have any questions about it, let me know in comments below for the Al-Sabah on Jeopardy. Now, this is what for the Kafula bin Sabah al-Kafar that has died at the age of 84. It was one of the world's largest serving prime minister who held the post since Bahrain independence in 1971. Now, I was on BRICS. So I'm just going to give you a hydrate. On BRICS, on leaders call for strengthening in intra-cooperation. It was for a stronger cooperation between BRICS countries in terms of trade and investment, the fight against COVID-19 and tourism and environmental protection. So read the whole paragraph on CGTN for this article. I just show you for the description below. Yes, let me drink that. Well, we're almost getting right to it. Now, for back in sports, this is what the Argentinian soccer legend Diego Maradona dies at the age of 60. He has suffered a heart attack. So he's one of the greatest players in soccer history who almost single-handedly led his native Argentina to the 1986 World Cup title. That he has died after suffering a heart attack. The country's football federation said on Wednesday he was 60. So he had a long battle health problem since his playing days ended. Earlier this month, he underwent brain surgery, his Buenos Aires, and was only discharged from the hospital 2 weeks ago. Word for his passing spreading quickly on Wednesday morning, with several local and international outlets reporting his passing. So you might be sure if you are very interested about Diego Maradona and any questions about Diego Maradona, write me in comments below. Now, CCP has been already congratulated Joe Biden on his election for president of the US. He gave us some cheers like that. So I'm pretty sure Xi Jinping already just sent messages to Biden that he's going to congratulate him. Well, hopefully it does. Joe Biden just already won. We're almost there. For so many headlines for the COVID-19 pandemic, hopefully will be almost over until next year. Hopefully it will be better. Now, the next one, we have the former France and Liverpool manager Gerard Houllier has died at the age of 73, who managed Liverpool from 1988 to 2024, won 6 major trophies as manager of the Anfield side, which included a League Cup, FA Cup, and UEFA Cup success in 2021. The Frenchman managed his nation's side from 1992 to 1993, but left after failing to qualify for the 1994 World Cup. Houllier had a long history of heart problems, dating back to when he was rushed to hospital at halftime of a Premier League game between Liverpool and Leeds United in 2021. After leaving Liverpool, he spent 2 seasons with Lorient, where he won 2 league one title. One title, sorry, I have with the S, His final job was a manager of Aston Villa in the 2010 to 2011 campaign. Same as like Diego Maradona. Any question about Jerry Hollerloof, or you a big fan? Let me know in the comments below. Now, same as for the Donald Trump has to test positive with COVID-19, who diagnosed. Moving on to this for the Emmanuel Macron test positive for COVID-19. You see that he can be wearing the mask on. So he had test positive for COVID-19. The Elysee Palace announced on Thursday. Other French and EU leaders will be self-isolating after coming in contact with Macron over the past week, the official said. What's it says about this? The president of the Republican has been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 today. Hopefully he will be better, same as Donald Trump. Just read more article on the France 24, like I show you for the link below. I wrote down the description on that post this for. Hopefully, Emmanuel Macron will be better after COVID-19 pandemic for test positive. Now, Dasha Burns learns about for the Pfizer for the USD Medical Center. Now, after Morgan Chesty came here visit for the USP webport. But next of us. So Morgan Chesty is here behind for the US webport located at the Louisville International Airport in Grand Lane, Lewiston, Kentucky, to learn how massive rollout operation underway as the most accurate apprehension over COVID-19 vaccine set to leave US UPS distribution center. Now, after that, they already delivered. Dasha Burns just came visit for the Sanford USD Medical Center in Falls, South Dakota, to learn something about discussion about the COVID-19 vaccine and how does it feel when almost getting better. And right here for the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine has been already shipped into for the Cost North Hospital. Like this one has been already prepared in the Springfield, Missouri to gather some few boxes of a COVID-19 vaccine were prepared, has been brought from FedEx. Now, the last headlines of the 2020. So, last Christmas, it was about for the Nashville get explosion outside. Like we said, for the last Christmas day. So, if you might be sure, if we're able to see for the surveillance camera, that's about for the, instead of 625, it moves around for the 629. So David Banknote just wrote down for the description below about released by the Nashville police. The moment the bomb went off the Nashville on Christmas Day. So this is recorded in the police camera at the 2nd Avenue North in Commerce Street. CBS News has obtained a photo of Nashville bombing suspect. You can swipe left. It was on Instagram. Anthony Warner, he is believed to be dead according to the authorities, killed in the bomb blast that he is suspected of causing. Well, hopefully that was the end of the 2020, but gotta be good to go for it. Well, I think that's all we got. Let me give you the stop shares. Right. Hopefully that be on the best or the worst. Okay, so people, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about 2020 year in review? And what is your favorite headlines about 2020? That you've been interested about it, let me know in comments below. We'll always before sharing, subscribe to my channel on my YouTube channel, Worldwide Campus News and Entertainment. You have to make sure to click the bell to see all notifications about the new videos and the latest video. Always give me a big thumbs up for anyone, or if you don't like it. Whatever you say so, it is completely up to you. Hopefully 2021 will be almost coming for next year. Hopefully COVID-19 will be almost over. And I forgot to mention about this one. Tokyo Olympics in the summer in 2020 has been already canceled for this year. But right now, they're going to be scheduled for next year in 2021 on the Summer Olympics. So 2020 will be want to say goodbye to that one. Hopefully Andy will be just came here to slap by that he has to need to work on here for it. I'm just gonna make sure to say one and then post it on Andy's on the social media. So thank you guys. I've been hope you enjoy. It was under 3 hours. And I will see you in 2021 after the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day too. So if you can, I'm just gonna put that right below here for welcome 2021 after New Year's Day for countdown. So I hope you enjoy. Be sure to stay home, stay strong, stay healthy, and have a safe day. Hopefully COVID-19 will be all over. All the cities will be almost getting clean. Just Wuhan just already clean first. So thank you guys. I hope enjoy for the rest of the day. As always, thank you very much for watching. And like I said to you, goodbye 2020. We'll be welcome for 2021. So thank you guys, and I'm gonna see you in 2021, like I said to you. Enjoy.